I love my job. I go into the most damaged and broken schools with a team of people. I think we call the grinders, whatever it's called earlier on. I think we grind it, and we love it. And we do it because we believe in a number of things, and I'm sure all of you believe the same thing about children. I'm going to quickly try and do that in 10 minutes, and then hopefully I'll give you a flavour of what we do. So let's begin. First of all, we have a family of schools. There are academies. We have 3 primary. We have the rest, 9 are secondary. Just testing my maths then. And we've got something like 1,500 staff, over 10,000 students. We've got somewhere in the region of £65 million revenue to run them. And we've got public assets worth about 300 million. So that's the kind of area that we're dealing with. And we have a very simple vision. And it's just been read out to you. And it's simply this. We believe that the whole point of schools is that children come first. And everything we do, and I mean everything we do, must reflect that single goal. If you put children first, it's very difficult to get it wrong. Very difficult indeed. And our moral purpose is this. We don't take any delight when communities don't do well. When schools go down because of officer judgments, we're not pleased at all. Because our moral purpose is we care as much about the results in all schools, just as much as the results in our own academies. It's about collaboration. It's not about competition. It's about not doing anything that's detrimental to any other school in a neighbouring area or any child. It's about working together to make sure that everybody does a good job. So what's our impact? We try and put 20% 5 A to Cs, including English and Maths, in the first year. The most we've done is 28%, from 33 to 61. We've done that twice, actually, but we've never managed to break the 28, and we get about 15. But some schools take longer. It doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. It just means the context is so difficult, and it takes a bit more to do it. So there's some of our results. We expect they've all gone up last 3 years, despite the English debacle. Every academy, we want to be above 61%. We want to aim for 80% 3 levels of progress. We tried to do the 20%, and one of our schools, Valley, took it from not to improve to good with outstanding for behaviour and outstanding for leadership, and that became a national support school, and Head then became a national leader of education. We are lucky, we've got 5 national leaders of education just in our executive team, and Julie Slater, who you met yesterday, is one of them. So, what does a school improvement model look like? Because when you talk about confident leadership, we talk about confident uncertainty. How do you know you can do it? It's all very well doing it in one school. Can you do it in another school? Well, we have a model. It's not the only model. We do 7 big things. We do leadership. We get rid of things. We abandon them. I was talking to Danny Schofield yesterday about Caldwell when we talk about abandonment. We abandon lots of things, and we just do some very simple things. It doesn't have an impact on students, then we don't do it. We change the way we look at the quality in the classroom. We do have 5-part lessons. We talk about Aspire and challenging outcomes for children. We make sure we do collaborative learning. We have our own way of learning, a model that we've developed, similar to Kagan, but not quite the same. We have a curriculum design, 3-year Key Stage 4. GCSEs in 1 year by default, taught vertically. That now has to change because of the new accountability measures coming in. We monitor every 6 weeks. We RAG, get them over the line every week, and then we put the intervention into place. And we know, and you know, if you want to give 50 students 10 hours each, a one-to-one intervention, it costs you £12,500. You do it for a whole year group of 200, it costs you £50,000. That's some of the best money you can use, but it's only compensating for the education they didn't get before. So when you go into a school, it's very interesting that you think, can you do it? And just because Outwood Grange, that was a bottom 10% in the country, took me 5 years to get it to outstanding, doesn't mean you can do it in another school. It's a big school, 2,200. So it's like a big ship, you just turned it. But 5 years is too long. I want to do it in a year. That's what we're trying to do. I want to be a little Learjet driving around. So, it's a big job. You know, Ofsted, they come and they go. But you'd be a fool if you didn't look at the Ofsted framework. You need to look at page 35 in the Ofsted framework. Look at the criteria for good. And if you can make sure that you get near to national average for attainment at 5 ATCs. If you make sure you can get 3 levels of progress at 70% for maths and 69% for English, if you can make sure you can make 4 levels of progress at around about 30%, Ofsted would leave you alone. That gives you good. And if you win on achievement, clearly teaching over time must be good. If you get teaching over time, the behaviour must be good for that to happen, and therefore the leadership must be good. That's just, and you do it, you get good, and then you just get on with teaching. Anybody who doesn't do that, you know what happens, I feel really sorry for really keen heads that go into school, they've only got 2 years, results do improve, it wrecks careers. So it's important we understand about what it takes. That's why in our family of schools, we meet all our principals every 3 weeks to go through it. Without a vision, you will absolutely go off course. You've got to be focused. Things can happen if you deviate. Are you up for a bit of a challenge now? Very quickly, because I've only got, this clock just ticks, it makes you go very fast. Ready? Reputational risk. It's great sitting in one school, it's lovely, I did it for ages. 14 years I've been ahead of Outwood Grange Academy. You're going to say, you don't look old enough. Well, I do actually. But 14 years, and then you put your reputation on the line when you help another school, and you do, because everybody's watching for it not to work. So yeah, this happened to me. You get a call from the DFE, what would you do? I want you to imagine you're in an outstanding school, or you might be, or in an outstanding leadership team. You get a call from the DFE. It goes like this, 2 weeks before Easter. Yes, Mr. Wilkins, there's a school in the north of England with 1,000 students. It's in special measures. Would you take it on? Hands up if you'd take it on. Put your hands up quick, vote. Okay, keep listening. And then they say, by the way, it only got 33% last year, and it's got 70% free school meals. It's got an average point score on entry of 24.4. Average is 28, 24.4. Reading age of 6 for lots of students. Many students can't tell the time. In Year 11, we have 40 students who can't tell the time on an analogue clock. In Year 11. Would you take it on? Put your hands up if you'd take it on. This is reputational risk now. Then they tell you 2 schools came together, but they didn't restructure. Oh, and by the way, what we didn't tell you, a sponsor was going to do it. They've been in 17 months. Ofsted have said no progress, they can't do it. So somebody's already tried it, and it's not working. 17 months, still in special measures. Would you take it on? Would you? And then they tell you they didn't restructure the staff. They're just going to start doing the leadership team, but it could be a lot of staff could go. Then you find out it's 70 staff have to leave. 70 staff. Would you do it? All those things? And then they tell you the building's new. You go, oh, great, fantastic, nice building. But then they tell you Ofsted said it's not fit for purpose. Because there's big open spaces where people took a curriculum model idea, thought it would work. Cramlington do it brilliantly. But your Cramlington did it after years of training, their staff. But you can't just lift it and drop it in a school and it worked. Behaviour was dreadful. Would you take it on? And then you see not so many hands now. Because you don't want to retire, do you, with a school of special measures? You don't want that to happen to you. And what do you do when you go in? You've got to feed them. They need food. In one of our schools, they have socks, we talked about. They need socks, they haven't got any shoes. Some of these schools we work in, you get them first, and then you start with discipline, because you can't learn in the classroom if people are misbehaving. We couldn't listen to this if people were running around shouting. So you get really hard. And you say, no makeup, no jewellery, no mobile phones. We have a thing, you get excluded if you refuse a reasonable request. Give you a mobile phone, F off. No, well, you've gone then, come back tomorrow. And then you say, but then tomorrow when you come back, we're going to talk about how we're going to get you 5 8 in clean English and maths, because you need it to get to college, to get to apprenticeship. And what you do now, you've done 11 years, for the next 60 years, is going to make a massive difference to you. So the question is, would you take it on? Well, the answer is, you would. And you do it every time. And why? Because, why would you take it on? Reputational risk, all the hassle. Why do you do it? Because it's very simple. It's about equity. It's about life chances. And it's absolutely, definitely about putting students first. Look at that, 10 minutes. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.